So thank you guys for joining us. Let's talk about a new reticle that you are launching right about now. Mm-hmm. What's that called?
So this is our MOA-XT. So it is our MOA scope offerings, particularly in our NX8 and ATAC-R models.
First focal plane only, I'm assuming?
Yes. So the MOA-XT will be first focal plane only. Our MOA-R reticle has been around since about 2012 and is one of our best sellers. During that really 10, 11-year span we're at now, we've gone from our what were mil-dots, MLR type reticles to our mil-R, mil-C, mil-XT. The tremors have also been popular. So we've seen a rapid development in the reticles. More
trees are growing.
Trees are growing. People are trying to shoot faster, further, etc. And with the mil-XT coming out a couple years ago, we've been hearing more and more calls like, hey, what about us MOA guys too? And we've actually been working on it for quite some time. The MOA-XT for us has been in the background.
I can see how it can get kind of messy with the smaller increments.
We jokingly said, well, let's just take the MOA-XT, let's just erase all the numbers, and let's just write the MOA conversions on it. But it doesn't work out quite like that. So with, as MOA and mil guys, that's kind of like the what caliber pistol should I get?
Yeah, 9 or 45.
Different guys have different options.
Ford or Chevy.
Yep. For us, we have MOA customers, we have mil customers, and they're both
and you're one of
us.
You're one of the few companies that thoroughly support the MOA guys. Mm-hmm. So we have that conversation a lot.
Yeah. It was the bread and butter. When I started, it was 98% MOA.
Right.
Yeah.
And as a company, are you guys about 50-50 now, or are you still lean
depends
MOA?
On the model. I mean,
in that neighborhood though.
Yeah, but we have very strong MOA and mil business.
Right.
And really it's product specific, customer dependent. Some models are only MOA and some are only mil radian.
Right.
But ultimately, the MOA customer being important to us, we as we have seen the mil reticle evolve, we kind of were like, oh, what's the MOA community doing? What are they looking for? And particularly the NX8, I think, is really driving a lot in the sense of the long-range hunters, some guys competing, the rimfire growth. We've seen a lot of MOA stick around. In the PRS world, it's nearly all mil radian.
Right.
Just sharing wind calls, things like that. But I think with like the rimfire and some of the airgun stuff that's growing, you're seeing people come with an MOA background. Like, you know what? I don't want to switch to mils. This is what I know, and that's fine. Mm-hmm. So that's where this MOA-XT fits in. Or people that didn't think they know they wanted it. There's a lot of great information online, a lot of training that's out there that people are looking at new ways or expanding their own capability with their rifles. And so this MOA-XT is meant to be a translation of the mil-XT, where you have some alternating lines on the main features that as you're counting across, instead of like, 6, 7, 8. Oh man, I got distracted. Which line was I on? Well, we try to make, like on our mil reticles as well, where it's easy to keep track of where you're at if you're tracking a moving target, or the wind is variable and you're kind of bouncing back and forth, where it's not, you're getting lost in the finer details, so to speak.
That's the thing. That's why I'm sure that's why it took a while, just balancing
and finding stuff. Like I had, the MOA-XT was something I worked on with a few others, and we'd look at it on paper, like, does this make sense? And we make one, and it's like, no, this isn't good at all. And vice versa, stuff that we didn't think worked well mathematically as we went to shoot it, like, hey, this actually works pretty well. So really finding the balance of, in that tree below center. Every 4 MOA, you have kind of a more bold line, which kind of equates to like the mil line on the mil-XT, where you have finer detail, but then you have in between there some not quite as dense to be able to see through. With the mil-XT coming out first, our goal there was like, can we see a 223 in like Georgia pine trees and see some splash? And so we could see through the reticle with the dots without having lines everywhere.
Yeah, I definitely like some transparency there. I don't like to shoot through a screen door entirely.
Exactly. So trying to find that balance of what's enough but what's not too much, where if you see your splash, like on the MOA-XT, you're never more than about 2 MOA from some kind of feature within that tree, where you can see that splash, make a correction, or your hold and make that hold precisely. Yes. So we really tried to look at the intuitiveness of the numbering, put numbers down both sides, the left and right side. So if you're holding the left side of the reticle, you just count down the left side of the reticle. I know it's happened to me on some other stuff in the past where you count down the right, and then you have to hold the left, but then you forgot to jump the reticle. And it's like, oh, no, I held the wrong direction for wind or something. So just
bonehead moves happen all the time.
We really tried to look at how can we make it intuitive where it makes sense to people shooting. It makes sense to making adjustments. We talk to a lot of different shooters and a lot of different backgrounds. How are you using reticles? What do you like? What makes sense? And so the MOA-XT is our drop tree, Christmas tree type reticle for the MOA user, and we're pretty excited. It'll be in the NX8 family, the 2.5 to 20, 4 to 32 first focal plane, and then it'll actually be in the 4 to 16, 4 to 20, 5 to 25, and 7 to 35 F1 ATAC-Rs. So a lot of options there.
Hopefully by now we may even already have them on the shelf, right?
That's the plan.
Awesome. Well, I'm sure that will make a lot of people happy that have been waiting a long time to see that. So thanks for sharing that with us today.
Yeah, it's been exciting to see for folks who have been shooting competitively with mills, you saw the progression of reticles grow. And more MOA shooters are switching to first focal plane than have ever been there before. And so I think everybody's ready for the same kind of growth in the MOA side. And so I expect that it'll be a pretty popular choice.
Finally knock out that C624.
Maybe. It's a juggernaut, man.
So thanks, guys, for sharing the new reticle news with us. They should be on the website now if you want to check them out at eurooptic.com and see the new MOA-XT.